Coming up on 5 Minute News. Trump to be investigated for leading a criminal conspiracy. Bronx apartment block fire kills 19. And baby lost in Afghanistan airlift returned to family. It's Monday, January 10. I'm Anthony Davis. Former President Trump cannot hide behind immunity from criminal prosecution and faces the possibility of being debarred from running for public office over his role in the Capitol attack, several members of Congress said on Sunday. Lawmakers from both parties, including moderate Republicans, warned that Trump will not be spared criminal liability should evidence emerge that he actively coordinated the attack. A Republican Senator, Mike Rounds from South Dakota, said that any immunity from prosecution that Trump enjoyed while in the White House evaporated on the 20th of January when he left office. On Saturday, it was revealed that the House Select Committee investigating January 6 is honing in on the question of whether Trump led a criminal conspiracy to try and block Biden's certification as his successor in the White House. Depending on what they find, the committee has the power to refer the matter to the Department of Justice for possible criminal prosecution. Adam Kinzinger, a Republican congressman from Illinois who sits on the committee, underlined the laser-like focus of the investigation on Trump's potential complicity. Kinzinger said that the panel wanted to know why Trump failed to take any action for almost 3 hours while the violence at the Capitol was unfolding on his TV screen. Was it a sign of weakness or complicity? While the question of whether the former president broke the law is fast rising up the political agenda, Congress is also considering another potential route to hold Trump accountable for the violence of a year ago: action under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Section 3 of the amendment holds that nobody in elective federal office, including the president, should engage in insurrection or rebellion against the Union. A space heater that malfunctioned sparked a fire that filled a high-rise Bronx apartment building with thick smoke on Sunday, killing 19 people, including 9 children, New York City's deadliest blaze in 3 decades. Trapped residents broke windows for air and stuffed wet towels under doors as smoke rose from a lower-floor apartment where the fire started. Survivors told of fleeing in panic through darkened hallways, barely able to breathe. Multiple limp children were seen being given oxygen after they were carried out. Evacuees had faces covered in soot. Firefighters found victims on every floor, many of them in cardiac and respiratory arrest, said Fire Commissioner Daniel Nigro. Some could not escape because of the volume of smoke, he said. Some residents said they initially ignored wailing smoke alarms because false alarms were so common in the 120-unit building, built in the early 1970s as affordable housing. Investigators said the fire triggered by the electric heater started in a duplex apartment on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the 19-story building. The flames didn't spread far, only charring the one unit and an adjacent hallway, but the door to the apartment and a door to the stairwell had been left open, letting smoke quickly spread through the building, Nigro said. The children who died were 16 years old or younger, said Stefan Ringel, a senior advisor to the mayor. At a news conference, it was said that many residents were originally from the West African nation of Gambia. Many survivors were brought to temporary shelter in a nearby school. The drab brown building looms over an intersection of smaller, aging brick buildings overlooking Webster Avenue, one of the Bronx's main thoroughfares. Sunday's death toll was the highest for a fire in the city since the Happy Land fire, other than the September 11 terror attacks. It was also the deadliest fire at a U.S. residential apartment building in years. An infant boy handed in desperation to a soldier across an airport wall during the American evacuation of Afghanistan has been found and was reunited with his relatives in Kabul on Saturday. The baby Sohail Ahmadi was just 2 months old when he went missing on August 19 as thousands of people rushed to leave Afghanistan as it fell to the Taliban. Following an exclusive Reuters story published in November with his pictures, the baby was located in Kabul, where a 29-year-old taxi driver named Hamid Safi had found him in the airport and took him home to raise as his own. After more than 7 weeks of negotiations and pleas, and ultimately a brief detention by Taliban police, Safi finally handed the child back to his jubilant grandfather and other relatives still in Kabul. They said they would now seek to have him reunited with his parents and siblings who were evacuated months ago to the United States. During the tumultuous Afghan evacuation over the summer, Mirza Ali Ahmadi, the boy's father, who had worked as a security guard at the US Embassy, and his wife Suraya, feared their son would get crushed in the crowd as they neared the airport gates en route to a flight to the United States. Ahmadi, in his desperation that day, handed Sohail over the airport wall to a uniformed soldier who he believed to be an American. Ahmadi said he searched desperately for his son inside the airport and was told by officials that he had likely been taken out of the country separately and could be reunited with them later. The rest of the family was evacuated, eventually ending up at a military base in Texas. For months they had no idea where their son was. The case highlights the plight of many parents separated from their children during the hasty evacuation effort and withdrawal of US forces from the country after a 20-year war. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.